Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to be back with you again for another one of our birthday lives. So this is our birthday spectacular. Why not? Let's call it that. I've just started calling it that today apparently. This is our birthday week. So next Monday, Vibrant Music Teaching is turning 6 years old. 6 in Chinese or 6. So we're turning 6 on Monday. And we always do a bit of a celebration every year. This year we did a road trip on the way to these birthday parties. And we're doing 5 days of live birthday parties. So first day was yesterday. This is day 2. Every day this week we're talking about some important word or important aspect of teaching that I believe is behind what we do at Vibrant Music Teaching. Different words that represent a lot of the teachers in our community. So today's word is engaging, and that's what we're going to be chatting about. And it's going to be fun. I'd love to hear what engaging means to you. And I would also love to hear what you're celebrating today. Because I want you to celebrate small and big wins. Something that happened today, something that happened in the last year, the last month, doesn't matter. Something fun that you can celebrate today about your teaching, your business, your life in general, whatever it may be. Today, my thing I'm going to celebrate is that, this is going to sound vague, but it's not vague. It's that I get to run this awesome site called Vibrant Music Teaching that we're celebrating. And that means that I can get to combine exactly the two things that I love to do. So some of you will know my background, some of you won't, so I'll just explain. I started piano teaching at around age 15 or 16. Really, someday I'm going to work out which one it was. Anyway, 15 or 16 years old, I started teaching. I taught part-time, like up to 7 students, all the way through college. But in college, I didn't do music. I did fashion design. Okay, so all the way through, I had this like art side, fashion design, an art pre-course that you do to get into fashion design, all that stuff. So a lot of painting and drawing, and then obviously making clothes. And then I had my teaching side, my piano side, and I obviously took piano lessons all the way through and taught piano lessons. And I had these two things in tandem. And in my mind, it was always primarily fashion, secondarily, but importantly, piano. And I graduated from college. I worked in the fashion industry. I was an intern, paid intern, which is rare, at like a big high street store here in Ireland. And it was great. It was a really good job to get straight out of college. It was wonderful. At the same time of that, I did give up teaching for a year because that was pretty full on. And then I became self-employed after that. And I did various things. I did pattern making, working for one of my former teachers from college because through teaching me pattern making, she knew I could do it kind of instinctively. So I was helping her with that, like with creating different sizes of patterns, stuff like that. And then I was making bridal wear and I took up teaching again. So I had this kind of weird portfolio going on. Okay. And then teaching started to take over. And then more recently, after teaching has been my main thing for a long time now, more recently, I've taken up creating clothes again just for myself. Like I just sew things for me the last few years. So it's like they've switched. I used to have this like hobby kind of piano teaching business. And now that's the business side. And I have this hobby making clothes just for myself. It's not a business at all. But what Vibrant Music Teaching lets me do is bring together 2 things I love. Or I should say 3 things I love, really. Music, teaching, I love the craft of teaching, and design. That's what I get to do. So that's what I'm celebrating today. Let me know what you're celebrating. Reggie said, a new student signing up yesterday. That's awesome. Fantastic. Serena, finally adhering to the articles outlined in my private teaching. God, oh my gosh, following your own policies. I love it, Serena. That's awesome to hear. Keep adding your celebrations in the chat. I love to hear them. And hello to everyone. If I say hello to all the people in the chat so far, I'm going to take up all our time, so I won't do that. But I appreciate you all being here to celebrate VMT's birthday. So, a few opening notes and then we'll talk about this idea of engaging piano teaching. First of all, If you are a member and you haven't already filled in the form to be able to win prizes today, go ahead and do that. The link is in the description. It only works for members. If you're not a member yet, you can sign up at vibrantmusicteaching.com. And you do want to do that this week because on Monday, with our birthday, the price is going up. Now, it only increases for new members. So if you lock in the current rate now by signing up, that's your rate for as long as you stay a member. And that's true for all the members listening too. Your price is not going up. That never happens as long as you stay a member. So now is the perfect time to sign up. And if you do it right away, you can enter into that prize drawing, which is fun. The other thing I wanted to note is on this continuing Tanara saga. So if this isn't relevant to you, just bear with me for a second. I wanted to note quickly about our Facebook group that I set up in case any of you haven't seen it yet. So if you don't know the news, Tanara announced last week that they're closing down. A lot of teachers rely on Tanara for their teaching, for organising their practice assignments, giving them to students, communicating with students, all that good stuff. They're closing down and we have until November to sort it out, so don't panic. Watch my previous video about it if you didn't see that. And just make sure you're in the Facebook group, which is Tanara Expats. So in that group today, I shared some CSV files that you can use as a starting point for recreating your assignments in a spreadsheet. Even if you're not going to use our app, which is Vivid Practice, I highly suggest you use those and have this like backup spreadsheet. Even if you can't upload it to the app you're going to use, you'll have a backup then and it'll all be in one spot. And it's going to be quicker to copy paste from there into a new app anyway. But if you do use Vivid Practice, then you'll be able to just upload those CSV files directly. And I talk about how to do that in the video that's attached to it. Okay, so that's my little PSA out of the way. Tomorrow, we're at the same time, Friday at the same time, and then Saturday will be our last day of live celebrations, and that's 1 hour later than this one, okay? Now, let me know what the word engaging means to you in the context of music teaching. What does it mean to be an engaging piano teacher, engaging music teacher? Yesterday we talked about creativity, and these may be related, but they might not. So I think we all kind of know, and have maybe seen, what the opposite of engaged students look like, right? They're looking away while you're speaking, they're not doing what you asked. Instead of answering your questions, they're kind of going, or yeah, I get it. Even if they're not being unpleasant about it, you can tell when students aren't really engaging with the content that we're presenting to them or that we're doing, the activity we're doing with them. We all know this feeling, yes? I know it, you know it. If you've only been teaching like a day, maybe you don't know it, but otherwise, you're probably familiar. It's basically where the student is not actually using their brain very much, like their brain is not involved in the present, in what you're doing together. Yeah? Let me know if you have a student who's like this often, or if you've had a lesson like this recently. Juliet said about engaging piano teaching, able to keep children involved and motivated throughout the whole lesson. Yes, I like that. Amy said to reach a student right where they're at so they feel competent to do the task at hand. Yes, absolutely. Sharon, interested in the other person and flowing back and forth collaboratively. Interesting, I like that. So how do we keep students engaged? We've all encountered a student who is not engaged. Maybe it's unavoidable that this happens occasionally. None of us are perfect, but we want to maximize the amount of times in our lessons that students are really engaged in what they're doing, in what we're teaching them, right? So to me, this comes down to a few things usually. The first one is fun, and I talk about fun a lot, and we'll be talking about it as a separate topic later this week. But to me, if the lesson is fun to the student, is what they consider fun, then they will be engaged with it. Because they're not synonyms, but they're very related. If I think I'm doing something fun, I am automatically in the moment. I'm automatically engaging with that material, right? Let me know if you disagree. The other thing, which I think sometimes we don't consider as much when we think about this word engaging, is that it's the right level of challenge. And I've seen many times for myself that that's when a student becomes disengaged, stops fully being in the present with me and doing what we're doing, is that it's too challenging or not challenging enough. And those two things, too easy and too hard, can actually be easily confused with each other in a lot of cases. Like a student will say, oh, I don't want to do that because it's boring, or they'll act like it's boring but won't say it. And you don't necessarily know. You might assume that means it's too easy, but sometimes they're saying that because it's too hard, so they want to act like it's boring because they don't feel they're capable of doing it, right? So I think we need to be really careful with this element when we want our students, and I think we all want our students, to stay engaged the entire time in the lesson. Is the challenge at the right level for our student right now? And each student, as we get to know them, is actually different in this regard. Some students like quite a difficult level of challenge, right? They like that dial turned up quite high. They feel really engaged when something feels quite tricky to them, but they think they can just about do it. They love that. Others need something to be really well within their comfort zone and only take them a tiny step further in order for them to feel confident about it, right? So it really varies by student. And as you get to know a student better, I think this is one of the things I really start to tailor to each student. Sure, there's the obvious things like what kind of repertoire they want to learn and how quickly they're actually able to do new pieces, etc. But this is the big one where my lesson planning style changes quite a lot with the student as I get to know them, because if they're a student that really needs to feel like they absolutely cannot make a mistake when they try this before they'll try it, then I have to scaffold my learning in a totally more incremental way than if they're a student who actually I can put a piece in front of them that has several unknown elements occasionally and say, figure out as much of that as you can, and they'll find it fun, right? So which type of student were you? And which type of student do you think you have more of? That's what I'd love to know. I think another element to keeping students engaged is surprising them. And again, this has to be the right amount for our student, for the student sitting in front of us. So you may have a student who has autism, and actually the right level of surprise is almost no surprise. Like they love the routine, they don't want too much to change. You might need to occasionally change things, but that's not where they're going to thrive. They're going to thrive in keeping the same routine and just following that in a more predictable way that makes them feel comfortable with the situation. Other students, mixing it up is really, really important. And giving them little surprises can help them to stay engaged so that the lesson doesn't become, okay, I walk in, that means she's going to ask me to play scales. Now she's going to ask me about my practice and I'm going to tell her it was great even though it wasn't. And then, right, we get the picture. But occasionally surprising students, like if you watched my show last Wednesday on the YouTube Live, we talked about unexpected ways to start a lesson, right? So maybe that's how you surprise them. Or maybe you surprise them by switching up the order. Or maybe it's a bigger surprise, like not doing any of their assignments for that week, just doing entirely different things, like playing chord charts for the whole lesson. It depends on the circumstances, and routine can be good to a point, but we have to be aware with that particular student, where does it become monotony, right? That's where we have to calibrate these things with each of our students. Now, I'd love to know from you in the chat what you do in the moment when you see that a student is disengaging from the lesson in some way. So they're becoming bored, confused, disinterested. So far we've talked about more broadly, like I've been talking about handling different students and lesson planning for them. But in that exact moment, when things start to go awry and you can see them glazing over, what can we do right then? What do you do right then? Because I have a go-to move. And it may be new to you and you could try it, but you may also have new ideas for me. So Juliet said switch the activity. Yeah, that's sort of what I do too, but I tend to do it in a particular way where I kind of change my tone of voice. It's hard to act this out without a student, but basically it goes something like, hey, get up for a sec. Like I just completely interrupt what we're doing to move to the new activity. And the new activity often involves movement, which is why I'm saying, hey, get up for a sec. But I'll try to be kind of dramatic about it or have a different energy to it. And then be kind of abrupt in a funny way, being like, do 5 jumping jacks. Okay, now turn around. Jump up towards the sky. Like, I'll do little things like that. Or I'll go like, stop! I'll be a bit dramatic about it. And kind of the opposite of what we were last doing. So if I was like explaining something, I'll just kind of interrupt myself and change my tone entirely. Or, if we were improvising, we'll switch away from that. If we were reading, I'll switch to something that's off the page. I'm trying to create the opposite in both my manner and what we're doing of, the opposite of whatever is happening at that moment. Juliet sort of said the same, switch the activity, off the bench activity, absolutely. Let me know what you do in those moments. Or if you've been lost in the past, maybe you try my thing of being like, hey, hang on, and being a bit weird and dramatic about it. Depends on your personality. You don't have to be like me. Get the body moving, reactivate the brain. Love that. I have a student who has just picked up club soccer this fall and he has been so not engaging lately. Yeah, that's tough, right? And do you think that he's like, I'm a soccer kid now, I'm not into piano? Or is he like coming from soccer and he's just tired? One suggestion, which often sounds a bit like flippant or a bit silly of me, some students, they'll come in and they're glazing over and you can't really get their attention. But on some level they like piano. Sometimes the best thing to do is, yes, get them off the bench, but also make sure they've had a glass of water. Anyone else have that on their mind? Sometimes they're literally just dehydrated or they haven't had a snack, and you can suggest to the parents, hey, he's coming in a bit sleepy after the soccer thing. Could he have a snack in the car on the way? Or, yeah. Sometimes kids just need to be fed and watered, right? And that makes all the difference. So, not to ignore a real issue that's happening where they're just overscheduled and they're way too tired. But sometimes it is as simple as a bit of hydration. Let me know if you've seen that too. Had a student jump up and down. Yeah. I do silly things like that. And I give abrupt, weird directions. Like, touch the floor. Okay, look at me. Look away. That kind of thing. Yeah. For some students that helps. And for others they come in so groggy. You have to try and get parents to try and keep them awake. Have that discussion. But you kind of manage it with each student and the schedule they have, I think. Okay, keep your thoughts coming in on that. We're going to do our prize drawing next. So, members who have filled out the form are on my beautiful wheel right here. Let's just reposition the wheel so it's where it's supposed to be. That was where I'd planned it to be. Okay, good. So, I'm going to spin the wheel. Are we ready? And we're going to see who's our winner for the day. And then you get to pick their gift from my colours behind me. Who's it going to be? Sarah! Is Sarah in the house? I think I might have seen... Oh, that's a different Sarah. Maybe she's watching live. Maybe she's not. Either way, Sarah's going to be our winner today. So, you guys get to pick her present and we're going to open it together, and then I'll wrap it so it's nice for her when we send it to her. But you have to get to see what it is, right? Otherwise it's no fun. So we've got a red one, we've got a blue one, we've got a yellow, and we've got a green. Which one are we going to open today? I'll give you guys a second to vote in the chat. Just write in the color you want me to open. Yesterday we did the purple, and Mary is getting that soon. The Joy Resonance asked, how do you get to be in the draw? If you are a member of Vibrant Music Teaching... Whoa, the light just changed there. That was weird. If you're a member of Vibrant Music Teaching, you can fill in the form, which is linked in the description here. If you're not a member, you can't win a prize. That's how it works. So if you want to sign up, you can do that at vibrantmusicteaching.com. Okay, what am I seeing? I'm seeing more blue than anything else. It's a good mix today. Yeah, I'm going to call that and say it was blue. Okay, I'm going to go get it. Here we go. This one's the blue one. That's blue. You might be able to guess. You might have seen one of the items inside. Have a guess what it is in the chat, and I'll unwrap it and show you. Yeah, if you're a member, just fill in that form. So it's in the description. It's vibrantmusicteaching.com/bday6. Oh, I didn't apologize first for all the rustling. Lots of rustling. Can't be avoided. It's tissue paper. Okay, here we go. Yes, Sarah is right. It is a die on top. So I threw in a foam die with this one because I love foam dies. They're the best. And they're great for actually being engaging and like getting students up at the last minute, because they can just throw it across the room and it's great fun and it doesn't hurt anything. There's also 2 books in here for Sarah. Different Sarah. This is my first book, Piano Practice Physician's Handbook, and this is Rhythm in 5. So Sarah, if you're watching this, who I just called out, get in touch with us. Double confirm your address. Otherwise, we will email you if she doesn't see this, and we will send those things over to you. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna rustle this for one more second. Put it away. There we go. It's done. Absolutely. Congratulations, Sarah. Now, if you remember, if you haven't filled it out, do that so that you might be a winner tomorrow. And if you're not a member, you can sign up at vibrantmusicteaching.com. So, as I said earlier, in case you missed it, the price of Vibrant Music Teaching is going up on Monday. So if you sign up now, you will lock in our current price and you will never pay more than that as long as you stay a member. So members who joined us years ago are paying amazing rates, and that's kind of what we do for our loyal members who stay Flamingos for a long time. You get to keep whatever rate we're at, and the price goes up for new members as we continue to add more and more awesome courses and features and resources and all the stuff we have. So yeah, make sure you sign up before Monday. We mean what we say. We won't make exceptions if you miss the deadline. So make sure you get on that as soon as you can. If you haven't already seen our new app as well, that's Vivid Practice, vividpractice.com. And if you are using the app and you haven't seen my email about the Zoom session I'm doing in just about half an hour as we record this live, then check your inbox. You should have an email from me with a Zoom registration link, and you can come along there and ask any questions you have about it. Get me to demonstrate features, whatever you need. So that's a good point, Janelle. Thank you for that. Flamingos are what we call our members. So our members are fabulous flamingos because we're vibrant and colourful, because we're fun and a little bit goofy, at least I am, and because we're really good at balancing our life with our teaching, with our business stuff. So that's why we call ourselves flamingos. You'd be very welcome to join the flock if you want to. So it's vibrantmusicteaching.com for that, and vividpractice.com for our new practice and assignment app. And I hope you'll join me again tomorrow for our next birthday chat. We're going to be talking about organized piano teaching. So a bit of a different one to our last 2 days, but really important as well. And I know something that a lot of teachers maybe struggle with or want to do better at, or some teachers just love, like me. Just love organizing stuff because, I'm just cool like that. So I hope you'll join me same time, same place tomorrow for that. In the meantime, have a fabulous rest of your day, and I'll be seeing some of you very soon on the Zoom call to talk about vivid practice and your questions. Bye everyone.